Okay, let's go.
Well, hello there, Chick Chatters. We're back, and now we have Love is Blind season. Is this 6 now?
Yes.
Okay. Like you said, I barely remember last season now, and I know I gave up on it towards the end.
Yeah. No, that season sucked. We were done with that season as we were filming. Done with the people. It looked a little boring in the preview for this season, but I don't know. Episodes 1 through 3 are bringing it.
The one thing with this whole season was that there was so many love triangles, rhombuses, multiple people interconnected into this web of, I don't know.
Everybody's dating everybody.
Everybody.
Yes. I think even Trevor at one point in one of the episodes towards the end, he was sort of like propositioning all the guys almost. So if we just tell each other all the people we're talking to, I think everyone can walk out happy. I'm like, are you trying to just chess piece this thing right now? That was so funny to me, but we'll get there. Actually, we do start off with Trevor right away. The first thing that comes out to me is that he has a mullet. Actually, Chelsea does think it's cute. He says that he's good-hearted, he's looking for a good connection, that good people deserve good things, blah, 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 blah. And the first person that he meets is Chelsea, and she is 30, she's a flight attendant, and right away they get to making jokes about their dogs. I don't know if any of that was real or not because I'm so gullible. Like, I don't know if that was a joke right away that he said Trevor's dog really named Chelsea.
I didn't know if any of their conversation was real because then after that they're talking about what makes them smile, and he's like butterflies and all these like out of the box things, and I wasn't expecting that at all either. So I'm like, what is this witchcraft?
When he said romance movies, the first one he mentioned was The Notebook, and I was like, are you sure? Because that's just such the romance movie. Did you even watch it, bro? But then he said A Walk to Remember, which is,
I know.
That's deep. He watched that movie and it moved him like it moved all of us.
It did. Brought me back.
But so then we get into learning a little bit more about Chelsea. She said she's been trying to find her person at Home Depot, and that has been unsuccessful. So here she is on Love is Blind. I don't know what the question is about why are you here. It's weird. What do you mean, why are you here? Everybody's here to find love.
And if not that, get on TV, one or the other. I mean, it's not rocket science.
It's certainly not. So we follow Chelsea from her date with Trevor into her date with Jimmy, and we are introduced really to our first love triangle here, I think. So Jimmy is 27. He wants to travel and he works remote, so he is good to go with the travel situation, which Chelsea really loves because she's a flight attendant. So they hit it off right away, like getting to thinking about their future and where they want to go, and they already start bringing up their wedding, or Jimmy does at least. And there's always somebody in the pots who starts a little too quick with the, oh, so when we're married or when you're my wife. And I think the guy's got to be cautious about this stuff. You can't just be calling people your wife that aren't your wife, especially on Love is Blind. This is a serious, like, they're taking this seriously. And
yeah, but then he dates Jessica, who is a single mom, and she's 28. And she's got a 10-year-old, apparently. She meets Jimmy, and apparently they have this great connection. He's a Scorpio, and she's a Capricorn. I didn't really even know that was a love match, and I'm a Capricorn.
I don't know, again, if that was real either, or if they were just playing banter with each other. Oh, yeah, that's compatible. I don't know.
Sometimes I feel like the editing was weird in some of these episodes. I'm not going to lie. Especially when there would be a reflection off of somebody. All of a sudden, you just see this rainbow shining out of a person as they're trying to be serious.
What I hated about last season, they did tone that down a little bit. And again, I get that they want it to feel intimate and everything. But yeah, I don't want to feel like I'm hiding in the walls. It's okay. I know that this is intimate. The conversation is intimate enough. I don't need to be like creepy. Jessica says right away too that she's not intimidated by marriage because Jimmy, yeah. He said to her that he felt a little bit intimidated by the process, which I thought was bizarre because he just told Chelsea, I'm good. Okay. He just told Chelsea that he was planning their life already. So I don't know if Jimmy is being all the way genuine either. I think he's kind of one of those people that play off of the people that are around them. But either way, he's made connections so far with these two. And they're very different women.
Yes. But then they kind of cut to the scene of Jessica going on a different date with Andrew. Oh no, his name's not Andrew. I keep calling him Andrew, but it's Matthew.
You know what? I wrote Andrew in my notes a couple of times. I don't know why our brains are so the same. He looks like an Andrew. He really does.
I don't know why it is, but yeah. Matthew's on this date with Jessica. He asks her a question, she responds, and then she asks him the same question, and he's like, I didn't expect to be asked that. And then he walks out the room. I was so shook. I was like,
This guy, that's when I texted you and I was like, there's a pod villain already in the first 10 minutes because not only does he walk away out of Jessica's date, he leaves frequently in like a succession of a bunch of snapshots of him asking his weird numbered questions and then just getting up and walking away. Sarah Ann or whatever was still talking and he just
walked right on out, right in the middle of it.
If you're not open to talking or listening to people, I get that it could be intimidating, things like that, but why are you here?
They only show a bunch of awkward dates, including Amber, this Amber chick. He goes on one awkward date with her. She asks a question number 4 or something, and he's like, people keep picking that. Will you pick something else?
The only reason she made it past the first question, too, because she did request another question, and eventually he told her that he thought that she had nice energy. And that is all that we ever see of Amber and Andrew for a while.
Matt.
Then we see this man, I'll call him for now, comparing himself to Superman. And then he walks in and meets our girl AD, who I love. There's parts of her that remind me of myself. Honestly, the worst parts of her remind me of the worst parts of myself. Like when she called herself Captain Save-A-Ho and, you know, if you see the red flags, I'll paint my nails red. Like that's how I have always been in some relationships. So I was just like, she wants to be the girl that changes somebody, that stands out, that the guy thinks is different. And she goes ahead and finds herself 2 of these guys. But AD is all of those things. I love her. She's very cool. We're going to see a lot of her. But she talks to Andrew right away and she says, so why are you here? Which is the annoying question of the season. And he said, well, it's certainly not to become an A-list celebrity. Listen to people when they tell you who they are. That's all I have to say. This is his first impression. He's telling you exactly who he is, and I really wish that she would have listened. But instead, she wants to be that girl, the one who sees past all the flaws and insecurities. So she's intrigued. She continues to talk to this man, and unfortunately, it goes well. He says that he's bad at first impressions. He's awkward. She was compassionate towards him. Talks about how he started therapy a few months ago. I feel like his therapy was probably court ordered. I just can't. I don't like it. But they're basically complete opposites. She shares that she's a city girl. The beginning of their date was strange, but it does end in a sweet way. I don't know. We'll see. So we follow AD into the next date, and this is a love rhombus here that we're getting into, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So we get AD in the confessional talking about how usually she dates players and ballers and is a Captain Save-A-Ho. She paints her nails to match the red flags, all of that. And then walks in Clay. And he's a smooth talker. So I feel like they kind of match that up pretty easily for the 2 of them. They just get right to flirting. You can tell they're really comfortable with each other. You can tell they both kind of know each other's personalities already without knowing. And I do think that it's a good connection. He says he's ready for long term and to settle down. And I think that that's pretty much where their first date ends.
I love AD, but they kept shooting her from the side to where her lashes looked like they were about to fly away. They were so poofy. Dean was like, I wonder if her eyelids are okay.
She's the one that should be having droopy eyelids, not Sarah Ann.
I love big lashes. I'm lash tech.
Yeah. Everyone in the pods, in the men's pods and the women's pods, picks up on Matthew, how different he is.
It about took me out when AD was talking about Matthew in the girls' lounge, and she's like, I'm interested in Matthew, and everybody just would stop what they were doing, turned around like, you like that?
I know. Someone literally said that verbatim. You like that?
Took me out.
It seems like at first they were all pretty open about who they were talking to because she also shares with some of the women that she was talking to Clay and she was surprised by Clay and things like that too. So it seems like everyone is chatty for now. Getting into what seems like probably the next day, we do see Johnny and meet Johnny. And he has this like suave long hair. Kind of reminds me of some kind of celebrity, but I don't know. Johnny's excited for all the good women. He says all of them are good women, and he's really excited to get to know more of them. Then we meet Amy, and she bonds with Johnny over Japan and anime. She talks about being from Puerto Rico, and they talk about family for a little bit. So that seems to be a good connection. They never really stray from each other for the first couple episodes.
They're kind of like the first strong looking match, basically. There's usually one in the season. I mean, I don't even remember that last season.
It was a bust. Back to Clay and AD, they're flirting again. That's pretty much what they're sticking to at this point. And then we have AD and Matthew getting into this kind of jumping around here. AD likes that Matthew doesn't come easy, and I think that that's what's entertaining for her about it. Whereas when she walks in with Clay, she talks to him very smoothly and very easy, and I feel like she knows that she's wanted. But with Matthew, there's always this question. And I think that that intrigues her. I'm trying to figure out what would have someone like AD talking to Matthew too. I had the same reaction as Clay when he found out like this bum.
She compares him to a pistachio, so it's a challenge for her.
Exactly it, yeah. And he says to her that she makes him nervous, but also comfortable at the same time. And she basically melts into a puddle at that moment.
Says that her fear is that birds will peck her brain out.
I know. And do you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this to you all chick chatters, but I related to that, not with the birds, but with having a really stupid, irrational fear. I am always worried because I lose my hair a lot, like all women do. I'm terrified that one strand of my hair is gonna like stray away and blow into some kind of crime scene, and I'm gonna be put away for murder for the rest of my life because my hair fell out. I just get so scared. And Tyler makes fun of me every time we're somewhere in the car and a piece of my hair comes out. He'll hold it to the window and be like, "Do you like your life?"
Well, in Detroit, maybe.
I know. That's why I'm like, I moved to a place where it's more and more probable by the day. I related to her little strange, irrational fear. Jessica and Jimmy have a wing date together, and Jimmy just about jumps out of his chair because the wings are way too spicy. And she acted like the wings were too spicy for her too, but she didn't look like the wings were too spicy for her when she was eating them. She literally looked at the camera and she goes, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God."
She kind of kept doing that a lot. She would be talking and then she'd be making signs and stuff
Uh-huh.
or doing things almost to the camera.
I think the wings made Jimmy's nose drain a little bit because he said he had to blow his nose, and I cackled because I'm sure you know, and Tyler has nose problems. He's constantly plugged up, and when he blows his nose, he sounds like a trumpet. And so when he was scared to blow his nose in the pods, I was like, "Oh, if Tyler was in the pods, he would totally feel the same way." And Jimmy said he blows his nose like a stressed out dad. You know, I think that that's some good irony because he doesn't know yet, but he is about to be a stressed out dad if he chooses her.
She hasn't really disclosed that with him yet.
She has
But
not disclosed that.
but she talks about him in Girls Lounge constantly from
Mhm.
almost day one, it seems.
She goes actually back into the pods and talks about him, and then the next day, that's the next date that we see too. So we kind of see long double date between them. And this is actually when she shares about her daughter. And it starts off with Jimmy actually talking about how he needs his partner to be accepting of his family because his family wasn't very well off, and sometimes people would be rejecting of him because of that. And so it was a good opening, but I do know that she was planning to talk about that with him that day anyways, but he does look shook, as I think anybody would be. I mean, there have been 5 seasons of Love is Blind, maybe 3, maybe 4 that he's been able to see. Nobody, at least on American Love is Blind, has had a kid, and they've actually talked about not believing in that happening on Love is Blind because there's too many people involved, too many high stakes for that. So I wonder why they changed their mind about that. Maybe because her daughter's a little bit older, but
Still feels kind of risky to put that kid through all of this.
yeah, well, in the beginning, when she shares with everybody, all the women, that she is a single mom. She does say that her daughter is open to this experience and excited about it. She already has her dress picked out, but obviously a 10-year-old's not going to be able to really fathom mom coming home with a whole entire legal husband and your life
Mhm.
completely changing. So, yeah, it's cute that she is excited to have a party and have her mom meet a man, but a husband is a whole different ballgame. So we'll see how this goes. So she tells him, and he's shook, as he should be. He does tell her it's okay, but his voice doesn't really sound like it's okay, and he doesn't really look okay. I'm not sure what's going on in his mind exactly. He's not ready to share that with us, obviously, yet. But in the confessional, he does say that it's a lot to take in and talks about that he has a connection with her, yes, but he also alludes to his connection with Chelsea, which we jump into. They talk about their education, their occupation. He said he was the first in his family on both sides to go to school, and she said that she did not go to school. She did a lot of trade schools, and she was the only one in her flight attendant school that didn't have a college degree, and he complimented her. I thought it was so sweet. He's like, "Oh, you're probably the best one there." And she, like,
Mhm.
didn't even know what to say. It was so cute.
This is also when Chelsea decides to tell him that she was married before, and this
Yes.
seems to be too much for Jimmy to handle in one day. He went in there hoping for a lighter day after that. He's like, "There can't be nothing else." And then she says she was married, which honestly to me is not as big of a deal. She didn't say that she has a kid too. I feel like he was waiting for that.
I felt really bad for Chelsea in this moment because she was trying to just be honest and share a part of her history, and she said she was nervous to tell him, but again, I feel like at our age, even at 30, some people have been married, some people have
Mhm.
kids. We grow baggage as we grow older, so I don't think that it's that shocking or that crazy. I think that Jimmy did not take time to think about what he thought about Jessica's baggage and walked in hot with Chelsea's baggage, like you said, wanted to do something light and fun, and then got more baggage dropped on him by both the
Mhm.
women that he's interested in, and I think he needed a break.
He didn't get that break. He sounded like he was saying something that he wasn't, I think. He was like, "I need more time," and she's taking it as a breakup because she started crying and getting upset. I don't think that's exactly what he's saying.
I didn't really get what he was saying, though. He said it twice, something like, "I don't wanna lead you down the wrong path, lead you in the wrong direction." I don't know if he was trying to say, "I don't wanna lead you on if I am not okay with this," or if he was just trying to say, "I don't wanna argue about this right now because 'cause I'm upset." I don't know what he was trying to say about that, but she did take it wrong, I think, according
Yeah.
to him, and she left. She's putting her little shoes on and crying, and I felt so bad for her.
He's like, "It's okay, not everybody's gonna like everybody."
I just wanted to give her a hug. I felt bad for Jimmy too, like, I wasn't mad at anyone, it just was sad, and I don't think Jimmy really was that shook by it. He does say as much in the next couple of dates to her, he makes up for it. She leaves that date and walks into a date with Trevor. It is just like a cycle of people dating people. It's like a really strange circle. They like to have fun. They talk a little bit about light things, but Trevor shares with her, which to me is a red flag for Trevor, and I love Trevor and Chelsea together, but he says that he would have put money that his last girlfriend and him would have gotten engaged and got married, and she said, "Well, why didn't you get engaged?" He said, "Because if I'm not 1,000% sure, then I can't do it." And I get that you need to be very sure to be married,
Mhm.
but you just said you would have put money on it and you were sure. So, unless there's something that they didn't show that you shared or maybe that you didn't share about her that you learned about her, then that's a red flag to me. If you were sure and you would put money on it, then I feel like that's as sure as you can be.
How much
I don't
money?
put my money on something that's not a sure thing.
Must
Gambling on a marriage? No.
maybe like $5 or what's he talking?
But then it slips from Chelsea to him that she was married, so she says it to him as well. I don't know if she thought she was still in the date with Jimmy or what.
You would know who you told that or not,
I think so. I think that's something you'd write in your little book.
especially when it didn't end well the first time you told somebody so far. I wasn't for playing dumb about that.
He took it well, though. It definitely went a lot better, but I think that that's just a difference in personality and a difference in how Trevor's day was going and how Jimmy's day was going.
Well, he says a lot of what you were saying, that it's not really reality to be looking for someone who hasn't had a history.
Very true. We go back to Amy and Johnny for just a bit, and they rap to each other. And this is how I would envision you and Dean's first conversations over the phone, because Anne and her husband didn't get to meet for a really long time when they first started dating. I feel like you guys probably just like sat there and rapped to each other on the phone all day. Did you not?
Well, you know, he wasn't a rapper, but they're similar, although Dean's the one that likes the anime.
Guys.
There's a lot of similarities, I would say, with me and her.
They're a fun couple. They're funny, but they also, you can tell that they really like each other. Then a
Yeah.
man randomly calls his chest hair taco meat.
Yeah, that was crazy. I don't even know who that was.
Me
They
neither.
never
I don't even think they showed his name.
kind of looked like Joe Jonas.
He did a little, but I've never heard of that in my life.
Yeah, and
What is taco meat on your chest? That's disgusting. I love
something
tacos. Don't do that to me.
intrusive thoughts.
It's a big piece of the kind of final plot here and looking into these initial love triangles. We start with date with Clay and AD. Clay discusses his ego right away and how his swag and suave attitude and things like that are more of a security blanket, and that he's never actually felt chosen by the woman that he wants. And I thought that that was a nice thing to share, a vulnerable thing about him, because they have been very much flirty and smooth and easy, which is fine. But it gives exactly what AD was saying, the player guy that she always goes for. So it was all good. And then he starts talking about his worst fear is falling in love with a woman here and seeing that she's ugly.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then he does want to know what she looks like. But I swear the camera angle that they have her at, they just make it look like her lashes are trying to fly away as he is talking about
You're so
moving forward.
I know.
It's just the angle, because when you see her dead on, they look good.
They do. Yeah, they do. And it's from this way, this view,
Yeah.
where they get the most poof for her. She is like way turned off by the whole conversation of like, my wife needs to be petite and have the lips and the butt and whatever. And guess what, Clay? This woman has it all. She has all the things that you're looking for and more. And she's
Mhm.
kind and she's fantastic. But guess what? She's not going to tell you. She's not just going to let you jump right in based off of that. She has way more to offer than that. She wants you to choose her because of who she is. So you just hold your horses there, Mr. Clay.
You signed up for this. Why would we be talking about what we look like?
So that had me rooting for Matthew as AD goes into this next date with Matthew. And I'm like, okay, Clay, we're going to let go of him. He's exactly what AD usually goes for. She needs a nice guy. Maybe Clay can be the nice guy that she's
Mhm.
looking for. So he gets right in with the really nice talking, and he's been thinking of her all the time. And that yesterday he felt like he formed a deep connection with her, and that he only sees two outcomes, and that that's leaving with her or leaving alone.
He also talks about her dad not being around, so he would want permission, and that made
Mhm.
her feel a way about him, because it's not really long after that, they just go to the girls' lounge and she just blurts it out. Amber.
I think that Andrew was asking both AD and Amber to legitimately leave Love is Blind. I think he was not willing or for some reason was not able to go through with the whole experiment. And it sounds like he was open with both of them about that pretty early on, but I don't think we see that. But he keeps alluding to wanting to leave and wanting to leave right now. There's 5 days left or 4 days
Mhm.
left, or we need to leave tomorrow. He keeps putting all these deadlines on. We need to leave and not go through with the proposal and things like that. Then AD, she says he's all giddy because obviously he's talking about he wants to marry her. And she says that she does not want to leave with him. She wants to stay in the experiment, but she loves him. So she's all giddy and she goes into the women's dorms all giddy. And then she walks up to Amber, and Amber is blabbermouthing about her date that she just had. Here's where it gets confusing. And I learned this in the second watch is that AD came back from her date and she must have went to bed and then woke up in the morning and talked to Amber, because Amber had her conversation with Andrew, the same conversation, mind you, that Andrew had with AD the next morning. And that's when she sees AD, because AD's in a different outfit. She's in those like black jeans and really tight shirt. And that is the next day. And so that's when we start to see all of it kind of put together, that Amber and AD and Andrew, the triple A love triangle.
Yeah.
And I was shook, completely shocked that somebody like Andrew could have two women ready to marry him. The man who was walking out on a plethora of dates just a few minutes ago.
It was killing me though, because when they were even talking to each other, him and AD, and this one last pod date before everything went to hell, he's like talking about the engagement part of this. He's like, what do you think about the engagement part of this? And she's like, I think it's cute. And he's like, I'm not taking it lightly. She's like, me neither.
I know. Maybe I don't know if they were really talking about the same thing, because again, I think he was trying to get people to leave, like right then and there. He was telling people, let me draw you a map.
He did talk about, oh, we only got 5 days left. Like, why don't we just go? It's just weird. But they just leave you on bated breath, basically, with this whole Amber talking about the same exact thing, the same exact way, the same exact let's leave together. I love how they ended the episode with AD just saying, it's just getting stranger and stranger as the minutes go by.
I know. And her face was like, she's smiling at her, and then all of a sudden she like drops to no facial expression. I'm like, okay. We're going to see how this goes. So there's always a bomb at the end of the first episode. This is the bomb. We do have some love triangles, rhombuses, stars eventually coming into this at the end. So stay with us, and we'll see you on the next one.
Yep, we're going to need geometry for this season. See you soon.